Hello, boys and girls. Mr. Palast here. I found another Mercer Mayer book. This one's called Just Not Invited. Now, fortunately, I will say this will happen to all of us at some point in our lives. So we can all relate to Little Critter, whatever it may be. Gator asked me if I was going to Billy Bear's birthday party. Oh, been there. Checking the mail. That says free stuff. I got home from school and checked the mail to see if my invitation was there. It wasn't. I asked Mom if I got any mail or an invitation or something. She said, "Not today." I asked my little sister if she got my invitation and hid it somewhere. She giggled and said, "Maybe you weren't invited." I never thought of that. How could that be? Maybe you were invited. I called my best friend to talk about something. He said, "Boy, we'll have a fun at Billy Bear's birthday party on Saturday. We are all going to Fun City." I asked Mom to call Billy's mother and find out why I didn't get an invitation. Mom said that I would have to wait, but that perhaps I hadn't been invited. Oh, man. I was upset at dinner. I was upset in my bath. There's that spider that pops up every story. I was upset when I went to bed. But I wasn't upset when I fell asleep. I was still upset when I got on the bus the next day. All I could think about was everybody being at Fun City, except me. In the lunchroom, it seemed like everybody was talking about the party. I kept watching Billy to see if he was passing out any invitations. He wasn't. I just kept listening to hear who else was going to the party. That night, Dad took us all to a movie. I was too miserable to enjoy it. The Ugly Duckling. I was so unhappy that I read a story to myself at bedtime. I do that. Saturday morning came. I told my little sister that I would give her a quarter if she made sure to answer the phone. She agreed, but I had to pay her 50 cents. That's 2 quarters. It was time for the party and still no call. So I went to the park. I saw Tiger at the park. He wasn't invited to the party either. And there were other kids from my class there too. I wasn't the only one after all. Huh. I know what we can do, I said. I'll ask my mom if we could have a camp out in our backyard. Mom said I could have Tiger over. So I did. Dad cooked hot dogs and roasted marshmallows. Tiger and I had so much fun. Sometimes not being invited is pretty good. And that will happen to us, boys and girls, in life. Sometimes you may not be invited, but realize that you can still have fun doing other things. Okay? Now, moving from that to another story called All by Myself. Now, this story is interesting too because it's kind of that aspect of being by yourself, but this is a positive one. This shows all the things that you can do now that you're independent. Mr. Powell talks about being independent all the time in our learning, right? Here we go. I get out of bed all by myself. I can button my overalls. I can brush my fur. I could put on my socks and tie my shoes. I can pour some juice for my little sister. Well, this is right there. Orange juice. So good. And help her eat breakfast. Me too. I can pull a duck for her. Right there, it says duck. I can drive my truck. That says stop, and that says truck. I can ride my bike. I can give a drink to my bear. Poor bear. I can look after my little sister. I can help Dad trim a bush. Yeah, be careful of those shears. Or ice a cake for my mom. I can look at a book and find a mouse. It says, this is a mouse. See the picture? And the mouse isn't too impressed. I can color a picture. I can put my toys away and get into my pajamas. I can brush my teeth. I can put myself to bed, but I can't go to sleep without a story. Good night. Now, this story was great, all by myself. I talked about the other aspect of being by yourself, that sometimes being by yourself isn't so bad, gaining that independence. So we learned earlier about, just not invited was tough, but there's still things we can do to cheer ourselves up. And then all by myself, all the stuff we can do are independent. Now we're going to switch gears and introduce a new character. And this one's called Just Me and My Puppy. I have a puppy named Kenny. I wanted a puppy just for me, so I traded my baseball mitt for one. My baby sister liked him right away. And boy, were Mom and Dad surprised. They said I could keep him if I took care of him myself. So, I am taking very good care of my puppy. I feed him in the morning. It says puppy food. He eats every bite. Then I put on his leash and we go for a walk. I am teaching my puppy how to heel. He is learning how to stay. Except when he sees a cat. My puppy knows lots of tricks. How to sit, how to play dead, and how to roll over. He still needs some practice. Uh-oh. He took that woman's hat. But he already knows how to fetch. My puppy is a big help around the house. He's a good guard dog. He brings in the paper for my dad. Oh, the spider. See him? There. And he keeps me company while I do my homework. Sometimes my puppy gets dirty. Then I give him a bath. I get him nice and dry so he won't catch a cold. Look how fluffy he is. Then we get ready for bed. Just me and my puppy. What do you think, boys and girls? Which one was your favorite today? Just me and my puppy? All by myself? Or just not invited? They're all great in their own right, I gotta say. I did like, believe it or not, just not invited the best because even though it's a hard lesson to learn that sometimes you won't be invited to a party, there's also a bigger lesson realizing that, it's not the end of the world. There's still great things you can do. And little Critter found out that, he can play in the park and have a great time with another friend that wasn't invited. And then it made it seem not so bad because, again, it will happen to all of us at some point in our life, and we got to learn how to deal with it. All right, boys and girls, see you soon.